do you ever get that feeling, maybe late at night when the house is finally quiet or, I don't know, right in the middle of a frantic workday, that you're running full speed on a treadmill?
Oh, man. Yeah, all the time.
Right, like you're working constantly, you're consuming endless streams of information, you are chasing down the next big milestone, and yet despite all of that exhausting motion, you feel completely stuck.
Yeah, you're out of breath, but you look around and realize you haven't actually gone anywhere at all.
Exactly. And, it is arguably the defining anxiety of our modern era for you, for me, for everyone.
It really is. I mean, we are moving faster than any generation in human history, but that profound sense of arriving at some final, satisfying destination, a place where we can finally rest and just say, I made it, it just keeps slipping further and further over the horizon.
And it drives us crazy. We think it's a new problem, right? Like a byproduct of our hyper-connected, always-on society.
Yeah.
But today we are taking a deep dive into an incredibly ancient text that proves that the feeling is, well, it's practically woven into human DNA. We are exploring the first chapter of Ecclesiastes, written by the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem traditionally understood to be Solomon.
Right, the guy who supposedly had it all.
Exactly. And we're looking at how a text written thousands of years ago serves as this devastatingly accurate mirror for our modern burnout. And our mission today is to briskly summarize this profound text, look at how it applies to your life right now, and then pivot to the ultimate question. How does this harsh reality actually strengthen our trust and relationship with God?
I love that because it is genuinely jarring to read this text today. If you strip away the ancient phrasing, the author is basically diagnosing the exact psychological exhaustion that fills modern therapy offices.
Yes. And that word diagnosing, that's the key here. Think about going in for an MRI. When you slide into that machine, the scan, it doesn't sugarcoat your illness.
No, it definitely doesn't.
It doesn't tell you what you want to hear. It shows you the harsh, high-definition reality of exactly where the bone is broken or where the disease is hiding. Looking at the results can be deeply uncomfortable.
Extremely uncomfortable.
But you absolutely need an accurate, unflinching diagnosis of the problem before you can even begin to talk about a cure.
And the author of Ecclesiastes, he really acts as the ultimate diagnostician for the human condition. I mean, he does not hold back.
He really doesn't. He opens with this blunt, almost jarring statement. The famous opening line is, "Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity."
Yeah, just boom, right out of the gate.
Right. And then he asks the million-dollar question, "What profit have a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun?"
To really grasp the weight of this, we need to look at that word vanity. Because, in modern English, when we hear vanity, we picture someone staring in a mirror, obsessed with their own reflection.
Yeah, arrogance or conceit, right?
Exactly. But the original Hebrew word used here is hevel. And hevel literally translates to smoke or vapor or like a breath.
Smoke. Wow, that changes the entire mental image.
Completely. Think about trying to grab a handful of smoke. You can see it clearly. It looks thick, it looks substantial, and it takes up space.
But you can't hold it.
Right. The moment you reach out and close your fist around it, there is nothing there. It slips right through your fingers.
Wow.
The preacher is saying that all of human labor under the sun, meaning, life evaluated strictly on a horizontal, earthly level, is hevel. It is smoke.
So you can chase the promotion, the wealth, the perfect reputation.
But when you finally close your hand around it, you are left holding nothing.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I hear what you're saying about the vapor, but I have to push back a little bit.
Yeah.
Isn't calling literally every human endeavor smoke just, I don't know, ancient nihilism?
That's a very common reaction, yeah.
It sounds an awful lot like saying life has absolutely zero meaning, nothing matters, and we should all just give up and stare at the wall.
Yeah, that is the most common modern misreading of the text, and it's completely understandable why people jump to that conclusion. But what's fascinating here is that Ecclesiastes is not a manifesto of nihilism.
It's not.
No. The preacher isn't saying life has no meaning. He is exposing a profound mechanical problem with human desire. He's saying that life without deeper grounding feels empty because temporary things were never designed to provide permanent meaning.
Oh, I see.
He is stripping away our illusions. He is trying to save us from the exhaustion of climbing a ladder, only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall.
So it's a reality check.
Yeah.
He's saying The things we expect to fill us up just mechanically cannot do it. They are vapor.
Precisely. And once he establishes this overarching diagnosis, he immediately points to the physical symptoms of this vapor in the world around us. He uses the natural world as a mirror for human exhaustion.
Right. He points out these endless, unyielding cycles. He notes that generations pass away and another generation comes, but the earth just sits there, abiding forever.
Yeah, just an endless loop.
He watches the sunrise go down and hasten right back to the place where it arose, only to do it all over again.
And he describes the wind going toward the south, turning around to the north, whirling about continually, returning again and again according to its circuits.
It sounds exhausting just listening to it.
And then he brings up the water. He says, all the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again.
You know, that specific line about the rivers and the sea, it hits so close to home. When I read that, my mind instantly went to our modern consumption of information, specifically like social media.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you can doom scroll for hours. You pour millions of images, hot takes, videos, and articles into your brain. You are a river flowing violently into the sea of your own mind.
But your brain is never truly full, is it?
Never. You never reach the bottom of the feed, close the app, and say, my soul is completely nourished. I have consumed enough.
No, and the tech companies actually design those feeds to mimic a bottomless sea. They literally remove the stopping cues. There is no bottom of the page.
Exactly. And the result is that you just feel drained. You're incredibly busy consuming. Your eyes are darting across a screen, but you aren't actually moving anywhere.
Right.
And the preacher ties this nature imagery directly to the human experience in the very next breath. He says, all things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing.
It perfectly captures modern burnout. I mean, we deeply confuse mere motion with actual progress. You can be in perpetual motion just like the wind blowing in circles or the water constantly flowing, but you are not finding meaning.
You're just wearing yourself out.
Exactly. You are busy, but you are stuck.
And because doing the same things over and over leaves us feeling so incredibly empty, what do? We try to find something new. It is the most natural human reflex in the world.
Oh, yeah. We think, okay, the old job didn't fulfill me. The old city didn't make me happy. I just need a new thing.
A clean slate.
Right, a fresh start. But the text completely shatters this illusion.
It really does, with one of the most famous phrases in recorded history. There is no new thing under the sun. The text forces the issue, asking, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new. It hath been already of old time, which was before us.
It's a tough pill to swallow.
It is. And honestly, I really struggle with this part. I look around our world today, and I see things that the preacher in ancient Jerusalem couldn't even fathom. We have artificial intelligence, gene editing, spacecraft, smartphones.
Yeah, the tech is wild.
Right. So how can anyone seriously claim there is nothing new when I am holding a supercomputer in my pocket that can access the entirety of human knowledge in half a second?
It's a brilliant point. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to distinguish between the props on the stage and the plot of the play.
Ooh, I like that. The props versus the plot.
Exactly. The tools we use change drastically. The technology is undeniably new. But Ecclesiastes is not a textbook about technological invention. It is an observation of the human condition. A smartphone is a new invention, yes, but what do we actually use it for?
Looking at cat videos.
Well, sure, but deeper than that. We use it to seek connection, to alleviate boredom, to feed our vanity, or to express our deep-seated anxieties.
Okay, that's fair.
The fear of missing out, the desire to be loved, the pursuit of status, those are ancient human patterns.
So the technology just amplifies the exact same human drives that existed 3,000 years ago.
Precisely. The human hardware hasn't changed. The modern illusion is thinking that changing your external circumstances, acquiring a new gadget, moving to a new ZIP code, starting a new relationship, will magically alter your internal reality.
Right.
In psychology, they actually call it the geographical cure. We think moving across the country will fix our depression or our restlessness.
But you pack yourself in your suitcase. You take your own internal cycles with you to the new city.
You really do. What looks new to us is almost always just a repackaged version of the exact same human drama. Changing the scenery does not fix the soul. As the text warns, that which has been is that which shall be.
Okay, so if achieving wealth and status is just smoke, and chasing novelty is a geographical cure that doesn't actually work, what's left?
Well, what do most people try next?
For a lot of people, the next logical step is intellect. We think, if working hard doesn't fix the emptiness and buying new things doesn't fix it, maybe I just need to figure out the system.
Yeah, the ultimate life hack.
Right. If I can just get smarter, read the right books, understand the psychology behind it all, I can hack my way out of this loop.
And what's fascinating is that the preacher anticipated that exact modern mentality. He tried it himself, and he had the ultimate resources to pull it off. He says, I, the preacher, was king over Israel and Jerusalem.
So he had unlimited funding.
Exactly. He had the time, the money, and the power to seek and search out wisdom concerning everything done under heaven. He communed with his own heart, noting he had gotten more wisdom than anyone before him. He was the ultimate intellectual.
He had all the degrees, all the data, all the podcasts. And what is his conclusion after achieving the absolute pinnacle of human wisdom?
It's not great.
No, it's not. He delivers this devastating line. I perceive that this also is vexation of spirit. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow.
It is a profoundly heavy realization, especially for a modern culture that equates information with peace.
We really do think.
We think if we just consume enough self-improvement content, we will finally be calm. But the preacher is warning us that acquiring more earthly knowledge often just exponentially increases your awareness of what is fundamentally broken in the world.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Think about walking into a deeply messy, disorganized room, but the room is pitch black. Because it's dark, you might stumble over a chair, but you can essentially pretend the room is clean. You can relax in your blissful ignorance.
Ignorance is bliss.
Then you flip the lights on. That light is the wisdom or the information. Suddenly your eyes adjust, and you see everything perfectly. You see the deep stains on the carpet, the rotting floorboards, the piles of garbage in the corners.
Oh, wow.
Your light didn't clean a single thing in the room. It just violently robbed you of your ignorance. You are infinitely more stressed out and burdened now that the lights are on, because now you see the mess you physically do not have the tools to clean up.
That is a perfect analogy, that visceral feeling of being overwhelmed by the light. That is exactly what the preacher is describing. As he states in verse 15, that which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered.
Yeah, the math doesn't add up.
Right, you can turn the lights on, you can analyze the crooked floorboards all day long, you can write brilliant dissertations on the nature of the stains, but your human wisdom cannot forcefully straighten out the inherent crookedness of the world. You just end up carrying the heavy, grieving burden of knowing exactly how bent everything truly is.
Man, this is where the MRI metaphor really hits home. The scan is showing us a massive systemic break. Achievement is smoke. Novelty is an illusion. Wisdom just turns on the lights to show us a mess we can't fix.
It's heavy.
It feels so incredibly heavy. If all of this is true, why would God set up the board this way? Why design a world that is so inherently mechanically frustrating?
And right here is where we reach the most crucial pivot in the entire text, because nestled right in the middle of these seemingly bleak observations is a deeply theological revelation.
What does he say?
The preacher says, "This sore travail hath God given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith."
Sore travail. Okay, let's translate that for a modern ear.
Right.
What exactly is a sore travail?
It means a heavy burden, a grievous task, or a deeply frustrating affliction. It is the built-in friction of human existence. The preacher is saying that the fact that the sea is never full, the fact that your eye is never satisfied, the fact that you feel empty after getting the promotion, that is not a glitch in the matrix.
It's a feature.
It is a design feature. God gave us this frustrating loop.
So what does this all mean? How does realizing that everything under the sun is vapor and that God intentionally made it that way actually strengthen our relationship with God? On the surface, it sounds like something that would make a person want to walk away from God, not trust him more.
This raises an important question, and it all comes down to where you are trying to find your ultimate security. Imagine for a moment if the things under the sun actually worked. Imagine if getting a new job truly provided you with permanent, unshakable peace. Imagine if moving to a new city completely fulfilled your soul, or if your own human intellect could solve the anxiety of death.
That sounds pretty nice, honestly.
Sure, but if the temporary world could actually satisfy us, we would never look up. We would be perfectly, blissfully content to live in the vapor.
Wow. We would just worship the temporary. We'd bow down to our careers or our bank accounts or our own intelligence because those things would be fully sustaining us.
Yes, the emptiness of the world is actually a severe mercy.
A severe mercy. I like that.
God uses this sore travail, this inescapable dissatisfaction, to deliberately and systematically strip away our reliance on temporary things. When you finally hit rock bottom, when you realize that no amount of life hacking, hustling, or geographical cures will fix the internal void, a profound psychological shift happens.
You stop asking temporary things to provide eternal meaning.
Yes.
You realize you've been trying to draw water from an empty well, and you finally stop blaming yourself for being thirsty.
Exactly. And this ancient text gives us the root cause of the human patterns we see described across other texts and throughout history. The repetitive cycles of failure, the aimless wandering through life, the deep emotional burnout. These happen because we are creatures built for eternity, trying desperately to make our home in the temporary.
So the frustration is actually a guide.
It's an intentional boundary line. It is a perfectly functioning alarm system designed to drive us toward the only foundation that does not change, does not cycle, and does not fade. Our trust in God is profoundly strengthened when we finally surrender the exhausting need to save ourselves through our own labor under the sun.
The psychological relief of that surrender must be massive. It means I don't have to carry the weight of making this temporary world provide my ultimate joy. So, bringing this all the way down to the ground for you, listening right now, if we accept this diagnosis, how does it actually change the way we live tomorrow morning?
It completely shifts how you react to your own dissatisfaction. When you start to feel that familiar itch of emptiness, instead of immediately assuming you need to blow up your life, quit your job, move to a new state, buy a new car, you pause.
You take a breath.
You recognize the sore travail. You realize that the emptiness isn't a sign that you just need to find a new flavor of vapor. It's a reminder of your need for a deeper, eternal grounding.
You stop running toward the next mirage.
Yeah.
And I think it also demands that we stop confusing motion with progress in our daily schedules.
Oh, absolutely.
Just because you are exhausted at the end of the day, just because your calendar is packed and you're running like the wind, does not mean you did anything meaningful.
Yeah.
We have to start asking ourselves, am I actually moving towards something eternal, or am I just the river running into the sea that is never full?
And look, the awareness of the vapor is just the first step. The goal of this profound text is not to leave you sitting in that messy, brightly lit room, grieving over the stains on the carpet.
Right, that would just be depressing.
The goal is to let the undeniable reality of that unfixable mess push you out the door. The diagnosis is meant to drive you away from the fragile, temporary things that cannot hold your weight and push you toward the eternal God who can.
The friction of the world pushes us toward the peace of God. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the illusion of the new to the burden of human wisdom to the profound mercy of our own dissatisfaction. We want to leave you with one final, provocative thought to carry with you. If this ancient text is right, if the career, the status, and the endless consumption of information are all just vapor that will eventually slip through your fingers, what are you actually building your life on? How will you apply this information in your life?